thou shalt not do stupid things and then blame someone else or some company for your own stupidity. Voting for what you as an individual feel is the right thing. There's a point where you have to stand up and take care of yourself. Why can't we secure our borders? They don't want to address the real problem. We were providing health care, room and board for someone the state's going to execute. I just happen to think that we as a country, as a people, and as individuals, we can do a little bit better.
Rhetoric about healthy upcoming congressional debate emboldens our enemies. Well,
boy, I tell you, all I hear about is war, and more war. And, whew, I can't imagine if that was happening at my house, but can you imagine the effects of war on regular old civilian, non-military, everyday people in a country? I'm thinking that's got to be traumatic. And here, let's try this. See if I can kind of give an example. Let's make up a fictitious war for a second. I know this is a rough topic, and a lot of people hate to talk about it. But let's make up a war and see if we can get the understanding here. Let's say Canada is attacking across the entire northern border of the United States. I think even as far down as people in Texas or California or Florida would have a different understanding of how war directly affects people in a participating country. And I have a very serious question to ask everyone in the United States. Are we at war? Now, I know you're going, have you been watching the television? Are you paying attention? You know? And I know it seems like a silly question with what's going on in Iraq and Afghanistan. And I know the president first said all the major combat operations are, have stopped. And what was that, a couple of years ago? And really, I think he was confused because now we're not in a war. We're there to win the hearts and minds or whatever. And it's like, you got to be kidding. As long as there are hundreds of thousands of troops, equipment takes, and everything else sitting in that country for all sakes and purposes, we're at war. Now, that's just the blatant war. Now, war can wear many, many hats, but the desired outcome is the same. And I came up with this little definition, and kind of bear with me because I tried to sum it up. And really what I came up with is war is the forced change of leadership, global positioning, and a philosophy of one group in an effort to make favorable economic and living conditions for another. We're all familiar with the obvious types of wars, such as the kind in Iraq. This type of war requires tanks, guns, fighter jets, and killing. This is the usual picture we form in our minds when we think of war. What I'd like you to do is consider other types of conflicts that we're engaged in that do not take on the same declarations or confrontations that we would typically associate with a war. Shortly after September 11th, the United States attacked Afghanistan because the Taliban regime refused to turn over Osama bin Laden. The Muslim community argued that the United States was really declaring war against Islam, the religion, since the country was run by its clerics. The U.S., being the good and politically correct engine that it is, stop laughing, I said it, I'm giving it my best shot. So, the good and politically correct engine that we are, quickly answered back that it's not a war against a religion, but it's the pursuit and apprehension of the mastermind behind the attacks on September 11th. Now, pay attention because I'm going to come back to this later. Okay? Now, what the Islamic extremists did to the United States was classic. The Islamic extremists, and I'm going to say that the rest of the religion, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt for now and just say the Islamic extremists and not the rest of the religion. Okay? And I'm going to say, so now the Islamic extremists saw that the United States has a soft spot for the freedom of religion. Now, they know one of our founding principles is letting people worship without persecution. When the United States entered Afghanistan, the Islamic extremists declared that their religion was being attacked and persecuted. This was done in an attempt to throw the United States kind of off balance and make the U.S. alter its strategy and it's on fighting and how they were going to take care of the enemy, and also to garner support from the neighboring Islamic countries. And you know what? They succeeded. Their follow-up was brilliant. Immediately, they declared a jihad, a holy war against the United States. Now, this war was not to acquire land or economic gain. It's to eliminate all of those who do not follow their religion. It has nothing to do with protecting their economy. The United States is seen as a Christian country, Western infidels, that's what they call them. And for the most part, that's probably about true, you know. And Islamic culture, if you're not with them, you're against them. And pretty much, you need to die. And they may get on Al Jazeera and claim that their religion is about peace. And, you know, here's the thing. It only is about peace as long as you believe in their God. If you don't believe in their God, it's not about you and you need to die. And so when the United States attacked Afghanistan and Iraq, the Islamic community, the religion declared war, jihad on the United States. And we completely missed the announcement. Our way of life is so centered on the separation of church and state that we fail to recognize that those two things are joined at the hip in the Islamic world. We think they're killing because of the occupation of their land. No, wrong answer. They're killing because of their religion. Now, you tell me, does this qualify as a forced change of leadership, global positioning, or philosophy of one group in efforts to make favorable economic and living conditions for another? Sure sounds like it. So you tell me, are we at war? Are we in a religious war against Islam?